we've read and see if they can reveal some strategies for our own research papers. We've read The Yuckiest Food in the Amazon and the Fast Food Nation's food product design essays. And both of these use similar type of introduction strategies. Note they do not start with questions. This one begins with a small scientific study that revealed how, with numbers, kids could be influenced or not influenced depending on their age, and how basically is revealing the main theme that discussed is learned, that culture is our instructor. And then later, we have the story begin about her. She tells some background about how much she's traveled. She's ate fermented raw fish and other foods, but then she gets her comeuppance when she goes to Ecuador. And then she reveals why she's there and how she's eating that knee. So I like how this introduction, one paragraph, introduces a specific idea that gets to the general point. I call this a specific to general. And the specific to general leads to the idea that will be revealed by the rest of the essay. Discussed as learned, cultures our instructor. Now let's look at Fast Food Nation. What does Fast Food Nation do? It also starts off with a specific that gets to the general. This is about McDonald's fries. This specific reveals the idea that taste is being created by the natural and artificial flavors, chemicals, and that's the main general that it's trying to reveal. So I want you to consider, can you use a specific to general in your essays? Let's take a look at one of my examples from how I'm working. I'll probably write an introduction today like you are, and if I look at some of my resources in my paraphrase lecture, I'm not sure if I still have it in here, I might have a specific set of data that is interesting that I can utilize. Here's one about sleep. I might start with this. If I'm doing an essay about the importance of sleep and how caffeination can ruin that for our young adults and adults, I might start off with the specific idea how the NPR writer interviewed a scientist who said this really great metaphor: sleep is a Swiss Army knife of health. And this quote could be my specific that I later bring to the general idea of how important sleep is and how extreme caffeination, especially throughout the day, can ruin sleep. And maybe that's what my research is about. Let's look at a couple other intro strategies. You'll find everything you need in here. And I recommend you start with this PDF. This one has some more advanced intro strategies, but these four are going to help you see why the question doesn't work and that maybe some of these other ones might for you. Okay, so the provocative statement. Think about how you might have a really surprising statement that you can share that could start off your essay in a way like a specific idea that leads to a general thesis statement. A provocative statement that comes to mind might be caffeine stays in the bloodstream or in our bodies for 12 hours. And the idea that 400 milligrams is the recommendation by scientists that we have about 400 milligrams or less, and that could be just 2 Monster drinks, right? And anybody that's drinking a Monster drink at 3 p.m., you have caffeine in your system at 3 a.m. still with the half-life. That provocative statement could be a really interesting intro that catches young adult readers' attention. Don't do the question. You're not allowed. I don't want to see any questions. Let's look at why it's not going to work. This one wrote, how can any senior afford going to prom these days? That might work for this type of essay if you were writing about a personal narrative or an idea about going to prom, but it doesn't work for this type of research. Do you drink Monster drinks? Well, I do, and I'm doing a research paper on it. Well, I don't, so I don't want to read your essay. They're very hard to do. Avoid the challenging question. Famous quote might work, though. Can you find a quote like I did about the sleep and Swiss Army knife, and can it start off a specific idea that leads to your general essay? The story or anecdote may work. You can even use first person in your intro. I don't want you using it in your body paragraphs, but you may use a story that reveals why you were interested in this topic. Many of us are researching Monster drinks, caffeine, or sleep, so there might be a personal story you can share in a paragraph or two that leads to your specific thesis statement, why you were interested in studying it, and what is your paper going to reveal. Okay, now actually, I thought this was in a separate document, but these are the more advanced topics of intros that you can look at on your own. Some of these are going into more depth of what I'm talking about now, the first four. The funnel, the anecdote is a story, survey, quote, question. Again, you cannot use a question. Setting the scene, definition essay. Do not go to a Webster's dictionary and try to define something. Just like the question, that is not allowed for a sophomore level research paper and usually is ineffective. I thought the general to specific one was in here. I guess it's not. Maybe it's in here. General to specific or specific to general are two intro strategies that I think are just essential to learn, and they take a little bit of thought to figure out. I'm hoping that my examples from our essays reveal the specific to general, and I'll talk more about it in class. This has the sample introductions from the sample essays of previous students. This one's defining the word farm really well, but they're not going to the dictionary. They're kind of setting the scene, and then they get to their thesis statement. The other one, not as strong as the other one, gives us a quote about veganism. That's kind of interesting. And then it gets to their thesis statement about their topic about thesis. About veganism. Note, I don't really think this question was the same as some of the bland questions a lot of students have started with. And really, they're starting with an interesting statistic, and then they offer this little inquisitive, but why? It's not a question intro. So good luck today. I'm looking for your intros to be done by the end of the hour so I can take tonight and Wednesday to give you feedback. Even if you are not done with your sources, please get your intro done today. This is essential for me to help you. If you have a lot of classwork and other classes that you're trying to get done, today is a day to shift that work to another part of your day. I need to see your intros so I can give you quality feedback. Good luck.